Hello everyone! Welcome aboard to the Journey of Fábio. I'm Fábio, I'm just a Brazilian learning English, and this is my channel totally dedicated to practice my abilities. Well, finally I finished Resident Evil 7 after 10 hours of playing this game almost every day here, but I'm so glad for finish it for, in this time for the second time. Because during the first time that I played this game, it was like a disaster because I was so afraid to explore the whole scenario. I was concerned and I was avoiding some creatures. However, this time it was pretty different. I could explore even more every detail in this game, in this wonderful game. And well, the story of this game, in my opinion, it is so amazing, especially because when we start playing this game, we truly believe the bakers are the real evil, the real enemy against Ethan Winters. However, at the end of the game, we finally figure out the truth involving this family, which means, okay, this some spoilers here. If you never played, please skip this part, or probably it's better to jump this video because, of course, I'm gonna tell some events about the story of Resident Evil 7. So the Bakers, they were a good family. They were good people at the beginning of everything. But we didn't know after almost finishing the game because we had to fight against Jack Baker, against Marguerite, and then against Lucas. And the only member who was, let me say, that suppose that believe that was the one that was a good person. It was Zoe. But then, after watching that flashback involving Ethan and the conversation with Jack Baker, we could know the real truth involved in this game. So, as I was saying before Evelyn appears on the game, appears on that ship, the Baker's family were like a normal one. They were living a normal and ordinary life. However, all of a sudden, after the event involving Mia protecting the bioweapon and provoking that accident inside the ship, uh, Evelyn could got free, and then she entered into the baker's house, the proprietor, the house, of course. And she has a power somehow. She had the ability to control their minds. And in a specific moment that Jack Baker was in a normal way, he told to Ethan about the powers and about the gift, because the only thing that Evelyn wanted, it was a family, and then she gave some gifts, some abilities to the Baker's family. It was pretty emotional somehow, because, as I said before, I I wouldn't imagine that the Bakers were good, but of course there was evil child behind everything. So yeah, the game is pretty in some parts it is so claustrophobic. You know, walking inside the house in a dark way. At least to me, this is not a big deal at all because sometimes I don't feel comfortable at all. And I do prefer, for example, exploring the outside areas. However, exactly in this game, we can't. The only moment that we can do this in a proper way, of course, it is at the beginning of the game, at the moment that Ethan's arrives in the land of the bakers, which means, yeah, just a short time to enjoy the day, because after that it's just inside the house. And of course there is the parts involved the trailer, the Zoe's trailer, but there are some creatures there, you know, the environment is not good at all. But even though it is a wonderful game with a great story, definitely it is one of my favorites Resident Evil because, you know, I'm a big fan of this franchise. I had the opportunity to play Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3 from the original one from PlayStation 1. And in that time, look at this. Everybody knows the graphics at that time, it was pretty bad. Even though I used to have some nightmares involving Nemesis. During my childhood, it was like so hard to play that game. I didn't have courage to do this. Even now, but okay, now it's a little better. But that time, it was pretty hard. And then, yeah, after that, okay, we have Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 4 is like a game changer in video games industry. And then, of course, Resident Evil 5 and Resident Evil 6. But the problem about Resident Evil 5 and 6 is somehow they changed, they turned the game into like an action movie. Somehow the essence of Resident Evil was completely lost. And then, after many years waiting for a good Resident Evil, I finally had the opportunity to play Resident Evil 7 a couple of years ago. But as I said at the beginning of this video, it was pretty hard because I'm so afraid of this kind of game. However, I love the franchise, and then I gave a chance, and it is a wonderful game surrounded by a great story. The mechanic of the game is pretty good as well. It is so easy to discover how to play using the right buttons. Of course, it is also a big deal. And yes, I will miss playing this game, of course. And I forgot to say something about the franchise of Resident Evil. One game that I had the opportunity to finish once as well, and it is one of my favorite ones involving Resident Evil, is Resident Evil Code Veronica from PlayStation 2 or 3. I think it's from PlayStation 2 if I'm not wrong. And that game is also a wonderful, enjoyable gameplay. I'd like maybe to give a chance to this Resident Evil in the future. Maybe I can, I can use this space to record another the Resident Evil Code Veronica as well. And I'll be honest with you, I have no idea about what game I can play now. I was thinking to maybe change this environment, try a new different thing, totally different from an horror game. So I have a game here. It's about Harry Potter. It's a Lego Harry Potter. You know, I've never played a Lego game. Maybe can be a big deal. And yeah, probably I can record this series involving Lego and Harry Potter. Anyways, yeah, I'm not able to say to give a score to this game, yeah, to Resident Evil 7, because of course the first thing that I would say, of course, it is a 10, because every element from this game, it is everything is connected to create a great atmosphere. Yeah, I do prefer escape. I do prefer escape to this part involving giving a score. Probably this part is better. Now I'd like to talk about the worst part inside Resident Evil 7, because I do believe that my favorite one is about the part of after figuring out what happened about the bakers. But the worst one, okay, there are two moments that I it's hard to say that I don't like, but I didn't feel comfortable at all playing that part. The first one is the moment that I had to go to the morgue, to the processing area before that fight against Jack Baker for the second time. I had to go to the basement, and there I was. My gosh, I do remember this because there were a lot of creatures, and my resources were so, I didn't have resource enough to deal with that situation, and I needed to run sometimes, and I was trying to run away. Yeah, that part was very claustrophobic, at least to me. However, there is another one inside the ship, almost at the final of the game, because first I was playing with Mia. It is different because I literally played the whole game, almost the whole game with Ethan, and then all of a sudden I had to play with another character. It's different. It is different to play. And in that situation, in a ship surrounded by monsters and pretty dark at the same time. So yes, it was pretty hard and extremely uncomfortable. So yeah, I believe that's it. I had a great time playing this game, and now I'd like to use this space because, as I said, the idea of this profile, the idea of this channel, of course, is about practicing my English. And I spent more than 10 hours playing this game, which means I literally practice a lot my English. And this is a big deal because I love playing video games. And at the time that I found some courage to start a YouTube channel and in English, and then I found another level, I guess, another level of motivation, because now I can play my games and at the same time I can practice my English. But I believe the next game I'd like to take notes, especially for the words that I don't know the meaning, or words that I've never seen before, or the words that I don't know the right pronunciation. Because clearly, in this game in Resident Evil 7, there was some parts, especially when I had to read a file. and for being some specific words inside that context, sometimes I didn't know the real meaning of those words. So the only way that I could understand at least a little bit is about the context. I could understand by context, but the pronunciation of them, yes, it was pretty difficult. I believe. So next time I will try to to use a notebook here, and I will try to write everything down because I'd like to, yeah, of course, I'd like to improve my vocabulary as well and the right way to pronounce them. And Resident Evil 7, or it's not just about Resident Evil 7, but this is a great thing involving this franchise because we have a lot of files to read, which means in this case I had a lot of opportunities to practice my reading skills. Because I'm not a okay. I'm not a big fan of reading. I believe. Actually, I don't believe. I don't know why, but since the school time, I literally skipped every moment that I had to read to, for example, to study the book to be able to do the text, and I've never done that. So I created a bad habit involving the reading skills, but not just about English, but about my native language, my Portuguese as well. And Resident Evil, I had the opportunity to read a lot, and it was very good because it is a wonderful way to understand even more about the story of the game. Because I mean, we can understand, for example, through the dialogue between the characters, we can try to understand what's happening, judging by the environment. But when it comes to reading the files, we can feel more part of the game. We can understand even more the details, you know. Yeah, it was pretty good. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap up here. It was pretty enjoyable having this moment playing Resident Evil. As I said, I had moments of extreme fun, and at the same time, it was very challenging because I had to speak, yeah, and at the same time, I had to play. And sometimes I was so concentrated, I was so focused on deliver a good job that sometimes I forgot to say something here to talk to you because, yeah, it was hard. Even though I will get used to doing this as soon as possible. Anyways, thanks a lot for watching this review about Resident Evil 7. And, well, probably, as I said, the next game will be Lego's Harry Potter. I'm not sure, but there is a great chance to be this game. Anyways, for now, thanks a lot and see you next time. Bye.